Not really. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Chassidy Lucas, and this is segment 2 of the Sea Life Saver program. We're going to be doing a lot for the next 32 episodes, and it's going to get a lot more fun and exciting, and we're going to be doing different things in different places. But today, on our second segment, I wanted to talk to you about water, H2O, the water we drink, the water we live on, the water we live with. I remember when I was growing up, the 3 things that my mother was always screaming: turn off the water, wash your hands, use the paper towels, all the time. And I thought, what a nag. I was always thinking, what a nag, you know? But they were always the essential things growing up that stuck with me the most. Water was one of them. And like I said in my first segment, you can't sell water, you can't own it, but you can only live on it and live by it. Without water, humans have only 7 days, and animals 4 days. You can't substitute it because there is no such thing. A lot of people nowadays, what they want to do is they want to go out there and they want to suck out those rivers and lakes, and they want to just clean them dry, put them through these magical machines that they claim that they have, and then shoot out virgin water back into the ocean and these lakes and streams and call it their own. It's no such thing. There is a force. There is a neighboring, I call her female, that I haven't seen anybody, man, woman, in any machinery that was able to overcome her. And that's Mother Nature. And the thing about Mother Nature is this: she was made for one thing, to change and to move things. In all our entire existence, way before me, way before my mother and father, way before my grandparents, way before their parents, and so on and so on. And if you go back as far as you want to go, as far as the Google will get you there, or whatever you're using, the search machines. Google water, Google homeless, Google population, food, and you'll see that nothing ever changed. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is our appearance and our growth and our technology and the things that made black and white. I'm from black and white to color. I remember the first time we were the very first people on our block. And it was a long block. Our block to get 25-inch color TV. You couldn't believe how many kids were there after school every day. And we had already had, because we're Italian, Spanish, and Indian, we had already had, tons of kids anyway, so it was like a magical thing that had come to life, and that was technology. And then again, in a new phase of life. So my theory has always been that it is not the nature of the beast and Mother Nature that is changing, and that we must change, because there's no way to change her. What we do is we find a way to learn from every experience, every disaster, everything out there. Yeah, there's such things as alarms, and there's such things as radioactive and wave active and water, and all this technology that's out there. And it's great and it's wonderful because it allows us to be warned and prepare faster. But you can't stop it. You can't stop Mother Nature, and she's not on a time clock. She comes and goes when she wants to. She does what she wants to. And it's not that the world is depleting. The world probably has more people. With people, you grow. With growth, you use the world. And there's nothing wrong with it. Here's the secret, if you will, Yeah, the book The Secret. When you use something, leave it 3 times better than when you found it. And every single time somebody uses that and leaves it 3 times better than when they found it, guess what? It's going to be perfect. It's going to be clean. And eventually it's going to be wonderful and always there. It's like I preach to the kids, because not only do I do environmental science, but I also cook, chef, things like that. And I was able to cook for a beautiful woman that I've adored my whole life. 2 of them that I've adored. This last woman I will talk about at the end of this show. Her name was Shirley Jones, but she was Shirley Jones Ingalls when I met her a couple years ago. And I cooked for her. And afterwards I went out there and I held in my arms this little tiny 85-year-old woman. And when I asked her, "Do you know how loved you are?" she did the iconic "No!" the way she shook her head and her eyes, and it was like walking back into the 60s again. And I held her for a long time. I think her son Patrick was there, and some people, with her. She's 85 now. And I remember the tears coming down my face, because it was such an emotional time that I was able to share with the woman that I actually watched on TV, from the Oklahoma to the Partridge Family and everything in between. Danny Bonaducci lives up here in Washington, and every morning it's Danny Bonaducci or Douche Man, and it's so much fun to remember these things, which are part of change, which are part of what we're talking about. You can try to change the world, but instead of changing it, embrace it. Find new ways to make it happier. Okay? There's another woman that I admire very, very much, and it's hard to talk about her at times because I get very emotional when I do, and it's Barbra Streisand. I've watched her since I was a kid. All her movies, my favorite, all of them, black and white, all the way to her concerts. And the thing I've always loved about her is that she loves and puts so much into people, into this world, and she's so emotional, and she gets so hurt by, and she loves so much, which is a lot of things I love, dogs, rabbits, things like that. And everything about her, she worries a lot. She worries about things that I'm going to try to explain tonight, that I'm hoping that one day she watches this video and tries not to worry so much. And again, Mother Nature that we can't change. But we can change. We can develop programs. We can make them hip and fun so that everybody will pitch in. I remember back in the 70s, the early 70s, this is what you did when you were eating fast food. You rolled down the window and threw the crap right out the window. Just wherever you were. You could be sitting at a stop sign, roll down the window in the 60s and the 70s, threw it right out the door. And a lot of times it splattered on the car behind you. Nobody cared. That was the way you got rid of your garbage. And pretty soon, there was so much garbage that activists, and I'm sure Jane Fonda was in there somewhere, was saying, "Hey man, this is bull. We need to do something about it." Then I started seeing signs that said, "Litter and you get your ass booted by $500 or so." Whatever it was. I think it was $25 or something. But my mother was always just a real crazy person about it. Something was landed on the ground. Get up there and pick it up! It's like, ah! And so I never did it growing up, because it felt evil anyway, and so many people made so many things about it. And I remember back in the 70s, it was just all over the news and the newspapers, because I worked at the newspaper back then. And I just felt bad. I'm like, Jesus, I'm never doing that, And then so it went from that to all the changes. And not littering, separating your plastics from your waters, separating your your watery type stuff from your recycles and so on and so forth. Now there's all kinds of things out there like, worm beds and how to grow your own fruits and vegetables, which we'll talk about that in another segment. This one's about water and my favorite icons that support these kind of things. And so, talking about Barbra Streisand, I don't think anybody's ever explained to her the scientific part of life and living and what we should do and what we need to do. And it's just very plain and simple. Mother Nature's going to come and go. She's going to come and go, and she's going to do what she wants to do because that's what she was made for. She was made to fill our rivers and our streams and our oceans and our lakes with water and birds and life and wonderful things that we just love so much. We as people, it is our responsibility in this world, in this lifetime, it is our responsibility to take care of those gifts. And those are the only gifts that God really gave us. He didn't give us money. He didn't give us any of those things. He didn't give us, the DJs and the rings and the necklaces and the hoopla He gave us seeds, and He gave us a way of water and air and fire and warmth and human beings. And it's our job to take care of those things. It is our job to make sure that we leave huge footprints behind so that our people behind us, deaf, dumb, blind, genius, people that can see can follow. They can feel, they can see, they can follow. I've spent many years around the United States teaching people classes that didn't even know how to read and write, but we used touch and feeling and colors. There's all different kinds of ways that you can fix what's broken, fix what's been used and worn out. And the thing that I want to reassure to Barbara is that life is going to be used. It's what we return back to it. It used to be, make it better than when you left. I say make it 3 times better than when you left. The only way that we're ever going to be able to stop our pollution, to stop all these things that scare her so badly, is to just all lay down and die and stop living. Okay? That will stop everything. The animals will come back. The roads will grow over with green. Everything will go back to the way it used to be. But there won't be no mankind. There won't be no way to engineer. And maybe that's a great thing for the animals. But because we both live together, we must be able to live together and to give and to receive in only the best possible way. So if you want to save your water, if you want to join in this renegade, this power of people in rescuing our water, our drinking water, our water that we take baths in, our water that we rely on, then we must separate it as we do from sewer to drinking water, which reduces diseases that carry out through the world like the pandemic. These diseases, most of them are caused by dirty water. Most diseases, bacterial diseases inside your body, were caused by something that you ingested, which is usually a liquid form or bad food. There's what most call scientific, I call common sense. Okay? You can't get any more common sense than flicking a light on and not forgetting to turn it off, or opening up the refrigerator to get something out of it and closing the door back when you're done to keep the cold. To not forget to go to work because you'll need that money to pay your bills. It's common sense that says that we know we must practice and we must do. And so in order to be who we are, we must take our place and we must do. And the most important thing in the world, again, is a glass of water. Without this water, there is no power. There is no reason to live. You'll suffer excruciating pain when you die. I don't even want to know what it's like, but I've been close in places where the water was very limited. And I've lived in places and shown people what it's like to not have water at all in your home. To see water wasted, millions and gallons of water wasted just because they were using the wrong fish food. Common sense. What a wonderful, wonderful way to live.